Okay. What do you think, Copper Dog? What do you think? You got your coat on? Oh. All right. Happy New Year, everyone. Oh, man, so good to see you all. Copper, come here. Come say hi. Come say Happy New Year to everybody. Oh, here he comes. Guys, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Whoa, spilling the tea. Wherever you are in the world. Hello. I hope you're all having a great day. It's Sunday, and I still feel like we're still in that kind of funky period between the holidays and this new year and all that stuff. But yeah, let the chat shuffle on in here on this cold and kind of stormy day. It's beautiful, huh, Copper? You smell anything good? Anything good out there, buddy? Oh, man. Yay, good afternoon. Hello, Cal. Oh, and we have we have Ross. Good morning as well, my friend. Happy New Year. Oh, man, I hope it's going to be a nice, good one. And I think it's going to be. I have high hopes. High hopes for this new year. It's going to be good. Got a lot of fun things planned for you guys. You know, just in like the content world, not only just what's coming into the shop, but there's some big stuff coming down the line. Let me try something here. Let me make sure my brightness on my phone. There it is. Much better. I was like, I can hardly see a darn thing. My phone was dead. I'm here on my phone. I don't know if you guys know that. It's very low tech around here. It's been too long. Carl, welcome. Pull up a chair. Pour yourself something nice and toasty and hot. You know, get cozy on this winter's day and hang out with me. We got some fun projects. I got some stuff to tell you about. Got some stories. Just a few days of 2026 has been pretty good. Nice and chill. Casey and I have been snuggled up next to the fireplace. We haven't started the next Stranger Things just yet. So we're watching all of it in its entirety in a total binge rot. We're pretty deep into season 3 right now. So season 4 is doomed for today. It's gonna be good. You know, it's just a good excuse to I'm a very busy. I don't know about you guys, but I'm very busy. I always have to be really busy. So it's really good for me to kind of slow down a little bit and rest. So it's nice to be able to do that. Especially, it's nice at the beginning of the new year because it's kind of an excuse, you know? You're like, the year hasn't even really started yet. You know, the year hasn't even truly begun, you know? Until next week, and then we're firing on all cylinders again. KO, you've never watched Stranger Things. It's a little spooky, but I'll tell you what. Like somehow the Duffy brothers created such nostalgia. I wasn't aware in the 80s, but I remember the 90s, and I don't know, there's just so much nostalgia. Anyways, I grew up in the 90s, but I was raised with 80s media. You know, I had older, almost Gen X siblings. So I was able to watch Predator as a kid and Terminator and stuff like that, you know? It's a little gnarly. So, word to the wise. Stranger Things is a little gnarly, a little scary, a little gory. But then somehow intersprinkled in is all of this childhood joy and stuff like that. It's good stuff. All right, so story time. So every New Year's, my sister travels up from the big city with her family, her lovely little family, and which makes me an uncle of 5 kids, and they're all together at once at my brother's property. And Casey and I put together a pretty awesome scavenger hunt, a gnarly scavenger hunt, and it's really fun because as they get older and a little bit more, a little more brain power, they're getting harder and harder. Well, at least we were making it harder and harder on them. And they did so good this year. I'll tell you more about that here in a second. Let me just check it on the chat. Rage, dude! You have a request? What do you got, buddy? Rainstorm, hey. Oh, it's so good to see you all. Yeah, Matt, totally. Yes. Scout, how did the cipher creation go? I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how it all went. It went great. Ah, I like that. That's very wise. Those are very wise words. Oh, you're going to work? Oh, shucks. Well, you'll be sorely missed, but it's good to see you. Let me go grab the cipher. All right. Copper, what are you looking for? Huh? What are you searching for, dude? All right. But I hope you guys had an amazing holiday. Maybe full of friends, even family if you're lucky. All right. So, years ago, I built a box. I built this box for my nieces and nephews, and they only get it once a year. Today is my birthday. Ask you to play the bagpipes? Oh. Today's your birthday, dude? Oh, rage. I'm not like practiced up or nothing. My fingers are cold. Ow. And well, happy birthday. Dang it. Let me think about it. Let me think about it. Oh man, because I'd have to go into the house. I'd have to go and give them like it's gonna be gnarly. I have to tune them up. That's a gnarly request, bud. I'm sorry. And I don't even know if I know the birthday song. I'm definitely not gonna do it live action, you know. What you doing, cub? Can do the concertina if that's easier. Oh no. I don't know the birthday song on that either. I'll think about it. Oh, we can do any song? Oh, gosh. Now the pressure's on, Dalton. Oh, God. Well, Rage, let me keep thinking about it. Okay, so every year I forged this box because there's one year that Casey and I, we couldn't be with them. It was a total bummer, but it locks. You see? It opens up. And inside of this box, I pile in 300 half-dollar coins. So each kid gets 30 bucks. It's 30 bucks, but it does feel, come on, get out of there. Little turd. But every kid gets, 60 cool half-dollar coins, and it does feel like doubloons. You know what I mean? It full on feels like they're getting buried treasure. And so I'm able to lock it. And it has like a letter lock. So there's letters that they have to decipher too. But let me show you. Let me show you how the cipher came out. Look at it. This is the cipher I forged for my nieces and nephews. And there's different settings. So, there's this symbol would show up somewhere in the clue. And then it would, these symbols would become these letters. Let me line it up a little bit better for you guys. But yeah, it worked out great. And then there's different settings. So like there's that symbol there that would create this cipher. And I had those little turds puzzling. And it was like an all day thing. So each kid, finds a cool little scroll and they have to unroll it. And on that scroll has a bunch of clues, riddles, and that will lead them to the next clue, which will have like the next kid, the next oldest. God, it was fun. And I think my favorite part about it was like multi-tiered clues. So one clue would have to make them sometimes backtrack to the previous scroll. So they're holding on to all of their stuff. They're taking notes. It was hysterical. Oh, see, just half-dollar coins are super cool. They're big and they just feel foreign in some regard. You know what I mean? Jord, hi. Oh, it's Jordan. Jordan. I think it's Jord from now on. I think Jord's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a fun tradition, and I can't wait to do it until their adulthood, But that means I'm going to have to get really good at these stinking puzzles because they're going to eventually get smarter than me. At least that's the hope. Copper. Stop it. I don't know if you guys saw, but I blew up my my gingerbread houses. Just a little, oxyacetylene. Blew them up, and there's like crumbs everywhere, and Copper's going and finding them. Hey, Santa Claus. I hope you have a wonderful New Year's too. So far, mine's been great. It's been pretty darn good. You know, very exhausting, but like the good kind of exhausting. I know it might seem like there's not a good type, but there is. It's from like too much, getting together and joy and a lot of planning, a lot of cooking. Goodness, a lot of cooking. Oh, Fantasia, it's so good to see you. Oh, Copper, look, it's Fantasia. You want to say hi? Come here, say hi. Move this out of the way. Come here, dude. Oh, it is Mr. Copper Dog. Oh, he wants me to play the bagpipes? Oh, I'm nervous. I'm not ready. Do I do leather work? No, I'm a blacksmith. And I'm here checking in with my community. Every other Sunday, we host one of these. I'm actually going to be doing some metal work here in a second. There's another little project I need doing, and I think Sundays are really good. I know it's cold, dude. Sundays are really nice to do those like funky little projects when during the week you're too busy to work on. It's one of those funny little things. Like you. Just a funny little thing. Okay. I know, you're all cold. You're like, let me move around. 25 months as a member, afternoon mythic. Cheers, brother. Absolutely. God, what a guy. May I ask, is that a butcher cap that was in front of you? A butcher cap? A butcher cap? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? That was in front of me, so it's is it my apron? I don't know what you're talking about. Copper Dog. Oh, and we got the neighbors taking their dogs for a walk. So sweet. I love this little neighborhood. Buckler over a shield. Oh no, maybe this? This is my logo. It's a pin. Oh, look at my comment about your pendant. Oh my God. Rage. I gifted my fiance the pendant that you made. She opened it and said, you didn't. She loved it. Yes. Hey, yes, you did. Yes, you freaking did. It makes me so happy. That fills my heart with so much joy that you're able to gift that. Because when you make something, there's so much intention involved, and I only make things once, so that means the world to me that she got it. Kendall, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. The big piece of metal I moved. Oh, got it. No. Every year, it's tradition on New Year's, I take all of my nieces and nephews. What the hell is that, Mythic? What? It's still looking at me. Did you all see that? That was crazy, Mythic. You don't need to be doing that. Cow, that's too generous. This is a little treasure chest that's usually locked that I made for my nieces and nephews for their treasure hunt every year. And here's the cipher I put together for them. It worked out great. It functions in different like modes and things like that. Oh, just a proper like codex. And it was good because I made it good and hard for them. But next year, I think I'm gonna up the ante because they're clever. Clever kids, man. Which fills my heart full of joy that they're using their noggin, I'm a big fan of traditions because, especially as a kid, kids with, all right, how they always say that time is flying faster and faster, right? It always feels that way. It certainly feels that way once you hit adulthood. You're like, God, we're already back here, But as a kid, every year, is like a huge chunk of your life. You know, as adults, it's just like, oh, it's just yet another one, right? But as a kid, you've only seen 7 or 8 or 10 or 12 of them. It's a lot. It's a huge chunk of your life. And it's so fun to look forward to things. Like for me, Halloween, trick-or-treating. When you've only seen a couple of them, Halloween's like the greatest thing in the entire universe. So, well, at least it was for me. So giving kids something to look forward to, there's like a level of consistency every year, makes me so freaking happy. And I love those kids. They're awesome. I'm so freaking proud of them. You betcha. You and Mrs. Claus, it's all about the tradition. Treasure chest reminds me of a tank round. Oh, rad, like with like the primer and all that. What was I saying? Oh, today's little job. All right. So, you guys have seen me use this thing a whole lot. This is the funny little vise that I use, like it's a, you know, for my drill press. Okay? I use it like crazy. It's a great, just old school cast number 4 little vise, and it sits up on top of the deck of my drill press. It's great, but there's always been this little bit of play, and I never thought much of it. I never thought much of the play in these jaws, but when you're clamping something down, let me close this up, give you a little bit of a demonstration. When you clamp these guys down, this play would get pretty hairy, right? Which in turn turns that into a lever across this Acme thread and puts a lot of wear on top of these threads and just the cast itself, you know, very well could break, snap like glass, because cast does not like to bend, move, or do anything like that. So I want to solve that today. Copper, get over here. I want to solve that today because when I'm working, when I'm moving and grooving in here, making stuff, I'm not, you know, I'm very rarely checking out my tools and seeing how they're functioning because I'm trying to do, you know, solve my objectives, right? I'm cranking, I'm focused. And I wanted to investigate what's with the play. How can I help that? Well, I took a peek under here, under this cast here, and look, this was a piece of plate that is missing. So these are threaded, and there was pretty much a guide going across these runners, these slides. So today, on this lovely, beautiful New Year's Sunday, I'm going to solve that. So going into the new year, I'm never going to break this very valuable little tool that I use constantly in my workshop. So that's what we're going to do. And I have some scrap steel just lying around that I think would be wonderfully suitable. Like I'm just going to grab this piece of 1/4x2, you know, flat stock. And I think that's a good place to start for that guide, that gliding guide. And I think it's going to be a good little project. It's going to be a little bit of drilling, but primarily some file work. Ah, yes. Aquarius is almost here. It's true. It's true, Alyssa. You know what's funny? Rainstorm. I don't know if the guide ever existed in this shop. I think I found this incomplete, and I just I've never thought about it. Because if I'm able to put something relatively deep into the jaws, it's fine. But if I'm working on some finer stuff, like, oh, here, I gotta do this with 2 hands. Like, let me barely put a little tension on it, like way up on the jaws like that. That's when, look, that would happen, which in turn turns this into a lever, which could break this element here, that block that, you know, the threads go through. But today we're solving that. All right, so let's figure out our layout of our holes because they're a little irregular. They're not straight, which, hey, that's okay. We're not going to hold it against it. But those are definitely things we got to take account for when we're doing this little job. But first, I need some more tea. I need to scare this, this chill, this bone chill away. You got your mini truck running? Heck yeah. Is it foreign? Yeah, this little guide plate. Now, there's a couple other things that I need to think about here. But first, we need some marking tools. So bear with me. Let's grab, honestly, I think a speed square should be totally fine. And I think I'm going to use a lovely little pair of calipers. Okay. Between these two tools, you could just about rule the world. It's pretty good. Now, you know what? I could use this as a measuring tool. I'm going to leave one of these wild. So I think the actual width of this natural piece of 2-inch bar is going to skate over these rails a little bit, but that's okay. Just in case there's a little bit of play, I don't want it to, fall off of this rail. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's not going to be seen by human eyes. But this piece of bar is a little long, so I'm thinking if I were able to just take, I've got my soapstone here. Soapstone is it's a stone, and it's kind of soapy, right? It's great for marking on steel, if you're unfamiliar. I'm gonna call it boom. That's my mark, and I'm sticking to it. It's Sunday. We're running wild. We're just going like this. This is speed square, all right? It's a little mini one for working on little mini projects like this. You slam it up against this like little fence, and that's when you got a nice straight 90-degree line. If you're unfamiliar, with any of the construction businesses or anything like that. So that's what we're going to create. Okay, we're going to knock this piece off. Get rid of that. We don't need it. We don't need it. All right. Let's cut it off. Now, we can cut this in a multitude of ways. We can get this steel hot, cut it hot, but that's a huge waste of energy. We don't need that. But if I had a bunch of stuff in the forge right now, yeah, I'd toss it in there and give it a quick chop. We could use power tools to lance this thing off in a hurry. But Sundays, I feel like Sundays are for like hand tools. You know what I mean? Sundays are for hand tools. So I'm going to put this in my vise. It's funny. It takes tools to make tools. So we're going to rebuild the vise, we're going to put some more stuff in another vise. So let me crank. Actually, you know what? I'm going to bring you with me. Let's see here. You extend your legs. Sorry, that sounded really intrusive. All right, there we go. See? Boom. We're going to cut that piece off of this 2-inch by 1/4. We're going to open up the vise. And we're going to just do some hand sawing. It's a good way to kind of reconnect you with the materials because you can feel it. I feel like there's something to be said about reconnecting yourself with the material at hand. If you're always using just power tools, you kind of lose your connection. Like with hand tools, you get to kind of like feel it. You get to feel it cutting. You get to feel the material moving away. There's a bit of an old blade, so it's going to take a little longer. But it's good. It keeps you in shape. So I'm hitting this at about a 45-degree angle. And American style saws, it's all about the push. And we're going to cover that here a little longer. through. Make sure I'm not spilling the tea over here. Okay, just like that, boom. We got a nice cut. Just gonna bend that back and forth. Boop. Done. Okay. Now that we have the steel's dimension that we want, I'm gonna bring you back over here. You get your legs back. All right. That seems about right. There we go. Now, T. So, our next step is layout. What layout means is our matrix of measurements. You know, we're not talking Keanu. We love Keanu around here, but we're not talking Keanu. We're talking the matrix of all pertinent information. So, we got this piece of steel, and we're trying to replace the guide plate of this lovely little, drill press vise that I use, Copper, how many times a day? Tons of times a day. Tons of times. His English isn't too good today. You got some weird green stuff outside. Oh, yeah. It's beautiful. It's been raining. It's all, look how lush. Look how lush. Yeah, you guys are all snowed in right now? Sorry to hear that. Yeah, Alan. I'm glad you're paying attention. I like it. I use this thing all the darn time, and it's always had a little bit of play, which is fine. It's okay. It's always worked, and I've been using this thing for freaking years. And there's one day I was like, it's gonna start wearing this cast out, if not break that block off eventually, right? So I flipped it over and I noticed that this thing didn't have its guide plate. Probably never had its guide plate. So that's what we're gonna build today. Now, if I were to sight this thing down, I can definitely tell that these holes are not plumb. They're not straight, which complicates this a little bit. That means this is not gonna be a symmetrical build. That means that looks like that hole nearest me is over by about 1/16 of an inch. And you know what? The fact that we're running this a little long, a little wild, meaning, this, like for instance, let me give you an example. Like if I really wanted to make this like super pretty, if this wasn't on the bottom of this tool, I'd probably run this thing across the guide plate like that, as opposed to having this extra material over the top. But this thing's never gonna be seen, ever. Let alone by me, but especially about no one that's gonna be in my shop. So I'm gonna let that run wild. It's gonna be a little bit more material to remove, but that's okay. This is Sunday. We're reconnecting with our hand tools and our workshop. No snow but brown. Yeah, I'm out here in California. It's beautiful season right now. It's one of my favorites, actually. But anyways, you're gonna distract me. So now what we need to do is find center and the distance between each of these holes. And there's a little trick to that. Enter in the caliper, but not yet. We're gonna find center first. Center, actually, let's just find center on both axes. Majestic beard guy. Oh, I'm glad you like it. Oh, God, bagpipes, I forgot. But my hands are all dirty. Oh, man. I feel bad. I feel like I'm letting you down. Rage, I'm sorry. God. It's your birthday, though. And you don't want me to sing you happy birthday. You don't want me to sing you happy birthday, Rage. It is not all the rage. I'll tell you that right now. You quit that. All right, so back to what we were doing. Let's find center. I cut my cut that we just cut together. It's called 1 3/4. That's easy math. Find that center. I'm going to flip this over and verify that it was in fact easy math. You know what I mean? Just easy little tricks like that can set you up for success, you know? All right, so what I'm doing is I'm scribing along our cute little mini speed square. There we go. And I just want to create, like, just establish the grid. And this is, in fact, not 2-inch. Huh. Fascinating. It's actually 2 1/8. So let's go 1/16. You know, it's funny. I hear a lot of, I don't want to say arguments, more like debates between metric and imperial. And fractions are not that scary. You know, like sound off in the chat, like what's half of 3/4? Easy, easy, easy. It should come to you like that. Bam. It's 3/8. You know, all you got to do is just double the second number. Easy, 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 easy. Now, when you get into like what's half of 5 5/16, it gets a little. I hear you. I hear the reasoning behind, you know, metric, but you know, I don't know. I'm an imperial guy. Ooh, we're getting in 30 seconds. Atta guy, yeah. When you start measuring in 30 seconds, 64ths and 1/28ths, that's when you know you're on to something good. You're in a very, very special club. A very special club. And it's funny too, because I'm glad to see that so many people, I think young people are starting to get back into the trades and, you know, the joy and splendor of working with your hands. And I'm very excited to see that, because there's something about it, and it takes so much mental power to be able to do so. You know, somehow people think that, you know, it doesn't. Oh, but it does. Some of those brilliant people you ever meet, you'll find in a mechanic shop, you'll find out on the construction site. It's incredible. Oh, I'm doing great. How are you? 2/64? Nah, it doesn't exist. Stop it. So 30 seconds. Okay, here we go. So, calipers. Now we're flying off the rails a little bit, because this one doesn't have like a little tension knob. I'm not able to lock my, you know, I'm not able to lock my measurement in. But if I was going across like workstations and stuff like that, yeah, I would get a different caliper. I got a bunch of calipers, whole bunch of them. But I just wanted a good excuse to use one of my favorite little calipers. You know, I love these little guys. Okay, so let's find out our distance. We can measure it, but I like using calipers because I know just visually, because to me, the measurement doesn't mean anything. It's just ratios amongst this tool in itself. And I'm just going to grab that measure right there. Boom, done. Now, we got our measurement, okay? Now I gotta be very careful with this little piece, because I can't move it a 32nd or a 64th or a 1/28 or a 256, you know? So here's a little tip. If you're ever measuring anything, or if you're ever, you know, using yourself a pair of calipers, pretty much ever trying to figure out the distance between two things. Now, you might want to go, oh, center to center, right? Or like, you know, go into the holes like, oh yeah. No. What you want to do is pick up on that bottom corner, corner to corner, same corner. So like say the corner towards you, that corner to that corner, and that's how you get a nice, crispy measurement. That'll be tried and true for you. Fantasia. I'm thinking about getting a tattoo. Oh, that's so exciting. I would like to use the Virgo sketch. Would you mind? Are you kidding me? I'm so deeply honored. Please do so. Okay, I'll let you off the hook. Give you a rain check. Rage. Okay, I promise you I'm going to play for you. Just put it on my tab, all right? I knew you'd catch me off guard. Yeah, of course you caught me off guard. I'm over here shaking in my boots. Okay, now what do we do with this? We're going to bring this over to our little plate here, and we're going to mark it down. You know, I could have measured that, but the measurement doesn't really mean anything. It's just numbers. I'm looking for ratios. Okay, I'm just going to eyeball this. This is a tool that no one's ever going to see, and I'm going to find eyeball center. And you know, this is one thing I always like to teach my apprentices, the power of your eye. It's a skill, you know, being able to sight things down. Do you ever see like a contractor or something like that, sighting in a roof line or sighting doorways with corners and things like that, just to see how plumb a space might be? It's a skill. It's a skill you could always be training. It's like a muscle. All right. That did its job. Boom. Here, I'll show you. Right? Now, these holes are not square. You're my great pal across the U.S. Oh, your work is awesome, and your time is even better. Rage, I mean, that means the world to me, Bart. I don't know what to say. God, what do I do with my hands? You're very sweet, man. I really appreciate you. Cheers to all of you guys. And hanging things up. Yep, rainstorm, that's what it's all about. You know, being able to eyeball things, you know, being able to find center, what's true and plumb, all that stuff. And it's nice to almost, like, in the way you practice that, is you give it a guess. You give it your best guess, you try it, and then you measure and see how close you were. You know, it's a fun game, really. All right. So, top hole is center. Bottom hole, however, is over by about we're only talking like a 16th. Very slight. Make sure it's not just the jaws. Actually, you know what? We're going to use our big boy brain here. We're going to close up these jaws so we put it exactly where it wants to go. You know what? We're going to use our calipers. We're bringing in the big guns again. We're going calipers. So, what I want to do here is I'm going from the fence of this guide to the absolute edge of our hole. Yep, top hole, centered, right? Guess with your eye. Guess with your eye, and then it's almost like forming a hypothesis and then using the scientific method to test it, okay? So, top hole, dead nuts, nice and centered. Now, bottom hole, aha, yep, it's in the right direction as I thought. Boom, we're over, God, it's but a hair, a 16th. We're talking a 16th, the width of a line. And I think that's okay. I'm gonna just eyeball that. I'm just gonna bring it over, bring my center punch a touch to the side, and that should be fine. Because theoretically, like I said, no one's gonna see the bottom side of this tool. So we could technically do it straight, but we're not. We're gonna give it a little bit of fudge onto the side. We're gonna take our center punch, right? Make ourselves a nice little center line. I'm just gonna bring that over by hardly anything. 30-second. You know what I mean? Like to the tune of like that. Very, very slight. Incredibly slight. So slight. Did I mention how slight it is? Oh, We need tea. We need tea, Copper Dog. Nice green tea is really kicking us into gear today. I hope all of you have yourselves a nice, lovely little, little something warm and cozy to sip on. 20 months, Rage is almost 2 years. Holy crap, bud. You're too generous. Well, enjoy all those perks you get as being a member, and also all those lovely little Copper Dog emojis you get. Perhaps the 64th. It's true. I'm thinking, like 3,256. About there. 3,256. So what are we fixing? A tool? Yes, indeed, we're fixing a tool. This lovely little, because Sundays are good days to reestablish your place in your workshop, your workspace, because during the week, we're pumping, we're churning and burning, we got too much to do to be farting around with tools that are working for us that don't need that maintenance right now. This is a good time to, work on things that we've been needing to do for a while. And this little guide plate goes on the bottom of this drill press vise, and it will take the play out of it. It's gonna be great. I'm excited. And we're gonna do it right, So we're not on the clock right now is what I'm saying. What are you doing? He's rooting around looking for something here. Let's see. See if you guys can see him over there. Come on. He got caught. He's holding perfectly still. Look! Custom emojis. He's rooting around. He thinks he's going to find us a little mouse or something. Look at him. Here he comes. Here he comes. He's like blasting his way out. There he goes. Mr. Copper Dog. Oh, you can't see him. Here. There he is. Oh. It's my best good pal right there. Okay. Oh, Fantasia, love you too. Okay. What's next? Sometimes I would drift this, but let's drill it. Let's drill this guy. Actually, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna use our freaking vise to make the tool that's gonna fix it. It's gonna be great. All right, let's put this thing in the vise. Because down low, she works great. Works great, but if I'm working up on top of these jaws, it gets a little hairy. It puts a lot of pressure on this cast block. So we don't want to break it, because I love this little tool. It's great. Show us Copper Dog sweater. Rage, okay. Come here, dude. All right. So, I about biffed it. There we go. Look at him. Look at It's Copper Dog. He's such a good boy. You just sit on my lap. So, whenever I wear out a flannel out here in the workshop, usually one of the sleeves has survived. So that's what this is. It's one of my sleeves you see his collar is my cuff. And oh, hi buddy. And when it gets really cold, we got Papa's collar so it protects his little ears. Actually, you got big old ears, buddy. Such a good boy. Okay, all right, go back to rooting around. But yeah, I sew him one like every year. Because he wears them out. He wears the heck out of them. Aren't they? They're the best. What a little stud popping his collar. That's right. Okay. Let's drill. All right, let me bring you with me. Oh, look, I'll let you look at Mr. Copper Dog as I fix your legs. All right, there we go. Okay, let's go back over here. All right, let's go over here. We certainly don't need a hole saw for what we're intending to do today. Oh yeah, look, you got a great view. This is sweet. All right, we don't need that either. Let's find our chuck key. All right, also, little 3/4 inch hole saw is a great little tool to add to your toolbox. All right, let's see here. I believe those are 1/4 inch holes. So let's find ourselves a little 1/4 inch drill bit. That's 13/16. That won't do. What are you? maybe that's enough. Let's see. A little snug. Is that, are you 1/4 inch? Yeah, we'll call that good. All right, let's into our chuck. There we go. Got her nice and centered. Yeah, centered. Make sure we're good. I always like to, before I tighten her down, make sure it's centered in the chuck with just a little flip on, just to make sure that we're, good to go. Okay, where'd my tool go? There it is. Now this is one of those processes that could not be easier. If you're not super familiar with, drill presses and things like that, this is just a really nice tool to have to your workshop. Maybe not a big one. Here, let me zoom you in. Whoa. Yeah, that works for me. Does that work for you? A bit of oil. Okay, now we are not done yet. So we have our slightly off center holes here, but like I said, we're not done. Let's put a little chamfer. A chamfer is like mechanically breaking the edges of our hole. Yeah, here's, this will work. I got one sitting right here. Perfect. All right, everything should clear. Flip it over. Because look, let me show you why. All right, so you see how nice, nice and clean, right? That makes it. On the reverse, you got all of this excess rag. This is called rag, right? You don't want all that crap. And you want this, if I want this guide to sit nice and flat, well, I'm not going to do a very good job of this where I have this little excess material poking up and through. That's no good. So let's take that off. That's what we're doing. Done. It takes but just a little kiss on the tool. All right, you're coming with me still. Okay, let's bring you back over. So you saw how easy that is. Fix your legs. Ah, whoa! You're still zoomed in. All right, there we go. Copper is the best boy. He really is. Okay. Tea. Like I said, I hope you guys have something nice and toasty warm to be sipping on. I need a little warmer. Okay, where was I? Let's get back to business. So, God, what a beautiful day. It's gloomy. I like gloomy weather. Are you, sound off in the chat, are you gloomy weather people? Or are you sunny weather folk? Both are right answers. I think maybe you know what it is? I think it's the combination. The pendulum swinging back and forth. I like gloomy weather. Right? Yeah, both. I'm a big fan. Big fan. Okay, let's check if our holes line up. Now we gotta start paying attention because this way and this way, both wildly different, because they're not symmetrical. If they were symmetrical, it wouldn't matter. This would matter, but this would never matter. But since that one is cantered over just by 256s, it matters. I'm a partly cloudy person. Ooh, partly cloudy. That's a great answer. Because you kind of get a little bit of both. And it looks to me like that is capital P perfect. Oh yeah. Nice. Yeah, those line up really sweet, even though it bothers me a little bit that they're not perfectly square. It bothers me a little bit. Now, our next little duty here. Scott Savala's in here? What? Where? Hey, Scott, happy Sunday, buddy. We're just doing a little live, rebuilding one of my tools that I use all the time. And something I've been putting off. I'm sure you can relate, being a, full-time artist. Those moments where we have time to kind of reinvest into our workspaces are few and far between. So I'm glad to have you here. Pour yourself a hot cup of tea and hang out with me. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. My Sunday's starting out great. My Saturday yesterday was like way up there, and it's hard to top the holidays. So we got our part drilled, chamfered, cut. Now, so as you see here, along these guides, there's a step. So if I were to, right now, put our plate down and tighten those screws, those bolts, it would seize up. It would seize up because there's no space. I want it to skate across these guides, meanwhile being tight up against here. So what we need to do is we need to cut. We need to remove some material across the shoulders of that plate, that 1/4-inch plate, so that it can slide right along these guides, right? Almost like a rail, right? Okay. There's a couple ways we can do that. There's a couple ways we can cheat. There's a couple ways that we can, be proud of our workshop and our tools. Which would you rather? I'm going to leave it up to you guys. So what we could do is add in spacers. So we don't need to remove any material. It could just be this. Boom. Done. Bing bong. And normally I would do so. If I was on the clock for a client, I'm mashing this together and we're back on the job that I was doing. But there's something about a Sunday where you can slow down a little bit, reconnect with your tools. So what the way we would do that is what we're going to have is, this is like guessing, we're going to have that to remove. And I'm going to use that by files, get it nice and straight, and it's going to take a while. I know Scott's here, isn't it great? What do you guys think? Shall I just slap some washers down, tighten this up, and we're back off to the races? Or would you rather hang out with me as I cut material away to allow for that 16th, 3 seconds, so it can still glide? What do you guys think? No washers. Okay, Morgan. You two are the best. Your videos, I'm so glad that there's fans of both of us here. That makes me so happy. Scott just wrote a book. Scott just wrote a book on becoming an artist, and I cannot wait. I'm just cracking it open. But we're doing a book club about it through my Patreon, if you're curious. If you want to see a conversation with us, We did a video on that before I started reading it. It's in my podcast thing. But we're going to have him back on at the end of it all. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to having him back onto the creative workshop and having ourselves another little chat. I know. Okay, good. It's going tremendous. We're doing a little bit of busy work for our tools. Can't wait. Yes. Also, Scott has revealed to me that he's getting a little curious about Dungeons and Dragons. And that, I might just have to facilitate that. We might just have to make that happen. You know what I mean? Just saying. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I still want to get Donna involved, and we could do it with the spouses. We need to think of a clever name for it, but it'll just be like, I don't know, Dungeons and Spouses, or I don't know, something like that. Dungeons and Husbands. Sorry, that cracked me up. Now, having played since the 1980, well, hold on to your socks, bud, because the storytelling possibilities nowadays are just incredible. Okay, did we get a consensus? What are we doing? Is D&D still around? Those were the days. Oh, it's around better than it ever has been. So Scott, speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, every year I send my nieces and nephews on a gnarly treasure hunt to find literally buried treasure. And I just ended up creating them a cipher for all the clues that they got. This was a fun little build. I wish I would have filmed it, but I didn't because I was in the zone. But like ciphers and puzzles are my thing, and that is a huge part of Dungeons and Dragons. So the consensus that I'm hearing is you want me to file all of this off. Let's see here. Let's get our holes lined up. And I want to give it a little bit of wiggle room. Because we're not really looking for this, but we are looking for that. This measurement, I'm a visual guy. This measurement is super importante. So I'm just gonna mark the inside. Oh God, I had it perfect too. The inside corner of where these guides begin, and we're gonna use our good old handy dandy. Let me make sure that that is a nice square before I go pulling measurements off it. It's okay. Transfer that onto the other side, because remember, now it's directional, right? Since it's an unsymmetrical piece, everything's directional now, because I can't, remove all of the material from the wrong side. You know what I mean? A very easy mistake to do. I've done it tons of times. Very easy to do. Oh, I don't want to use that side. Let's see, I want to use this side. There we go. That's better. Just transferring my lines, which will give us pretty much like a sled. Not the sled you do, last year, but the type of sledding that will make this run across these guides really nice and smooth. Now, let me grab a file. A couple of files. We're gonna need a couple here for different jobs. Okay. Oh, one more thing actually I do want to do. So, let's talk a little theory. Let's dig into a little bit of theory. These are files. These are amazing to remove material, especially good sharp ones. These are a little worn out, but I think they're going to work for our purposes today. They come in many different patterns, styles, all that stuff. Okay? So you can see there's like texture. On this rasp, you can really see it, okay? Almost looks like fish scales. And I think fish scales are a very good example of what we're talking about. So these are, just like a saw is, very directional, okay? Much like American saws, it's all about the push. It's all about the push. You know, pushing removes the steel, or the material, whatever you're doing with. Because I've seen, and it drives me nuts, people are just dragging files. No. That's like trying to, you're running your hand down the smooth part of a fish, right? All of its scales are directional. But if you tried to dig in, that's it biting. It's it biting into your skin, not cutting you, obviously. But think of almost like tons and tons of chisels, right? You're not going to chisel by like this. Might feel good, I feel like I'm petting my fingers. But if I were to dig in this way, I'm removing material. You're scooping like a bunch of shovels. These are just a bunch of inline shovels. It's directional. So if I were to drag those nice sharp shovels, I'm only just dulling them. It's okay a little bit, but you're mainly just wanting to skate back and then pushing hard, digging in and removing material. And I'm going to show you that device. All right, so that's what we're going to remove, these sides, okay? Let me put you in the vise here. How do I want to do this? I'm just going to grab a piece of that. I'm going to bring you with me. Sound off in the chat. Which angle do you like better? Do you like it this way or this way? I'm curious because I'm going to tip you forward a little bit so you can actually see what it is the heck I'm doing. What do you guys think? Ooh, what's the difference between a file and a rasp? That's a great question. A file is a rasp. A rasp is a file. There is no difference. They are just, top down. Let's see. Move you up a little bit. This way is easier now. You like that? Okay. I'll zoom you in a little bit closer. Yeah, so there's many different types of files out there. The rasp is one of them. There's bastard files. There's all sorts of stuff. My biggest task is I'm going to use this side here. Ooh, I'm going to elbow you for sure. Maybe this way is better. You're out of the thunder zone. Let's see. Where are you? Where am I? Who am I? Maybe I'll lower you down a little bit. Oh, wait a minute. We're figuring it out, guys. Look at there. Boom. I'm going to use the side of the file to really cut in a nice, clean line. Right? No, this is kind of tough because I'm doing it live here. I'm just going to try and get an edge established so I can do this a little bit finer. There we go. There we go. Now this is going to take a while. But once I get my line established, it'll become a lot easier. But mainly I want it to be nice and square. That's why I'm taking my sweet time right now. I'm going to take, I would say, a 16th off. Because I want there to be a little bit of play. Go to the other one. See if that's cutting a little bit better. There we go. Established my pretty much a channel. Keeping it nice and square. I can go a little harder. Now, if you notice, I'm kind of rounding this a little bit. I want there to be a little bit of roundness. It doesn't need to be nice and square. So if there's any debris underneath those rails, it'll kind of hop over it. You know what I mean? Okay, yeah, we're making good progress here. sometimes it's just nice to like re-establish yourself with the material. You know what I mean? It's nice to kind of feel it again. If you're using hand tools all the time, it kind of disconnects you a little bit. At least it can. Now, a grinder would make this super fast, but it's also noisy and less zen. Sundays are for zen. That's looking really good. Plus, this way, I can really control the depth in which I go down. But how do I want to flatten that out? That's another question. I'm going to start at an angle and meet those two up. Because right now, let's see if you can see. You can see I've established a nice little channel, but now I need to drop that down, right? Doesn't take much time. So I'm starting at an angle and then dropping that down. There we go. Ooh, rage. Second angle. Is this second angle? Well, over here I'm thrashing around, so I don't want to knock you over. See, I can feel it really biting in now. It's a good feeling too. Let's try that. So these really, really gnarly teeth are great for hot steel because you can just absolutely move material like it's no one's business. And once I'm past the mill scale, a lot better. Nice steady breaths. You know, a lot of people wear out, but you just gotta, you know, keep it nice and steady. What's your rush, you know? Rounding these off. Now, this tool is going to be a nice little addition to the things we've created on these lovely little Sundays. Curious how we're looking. Oh, yeah. Looky. See what I mean? Create a nice little channel. Checking on this workpiece. I'm going to keep going because I want there to be a bit of play. You know, we need play. See what this other file does. Now this one's a little bit finer, right? Much finer teeth. Let's see how she does. Ooh, that's nice. See, it's almost like coarse sandpaper and fine sandpaper. Knock those corners off. And I think that is good for that side. Nice little channel there. depth about a 16th. Let's go to the other side. Do it again. So, crucial, cutting this edge in. Got to come in with a little bit of heat. Once I got my channel set, then we're good. But establishing that, easier said than done. There we go. There we go. Slowly, gradually bring my right hand down. Gonna do the same to this side. Ooh, no, I just gotta do it slow. Like I said, what's the rush? Bring those two edges together because I want this to be nice and square. Only pushing. Switch sides. How do I like that? It's getting there. Getting there. It's getting close though. How is this side to the compare? Got a little bit more to go. A little more. Curious if you guys can see the shavings that I'm dropping off of this thing. Ooh, that's a better angle. I like that. Maybe. Now, we've been like this. Now I'm going to slowly and gradually bring that down nice and square. Like we did this with this one. Pop this guy off. Try not to hit my phone right here. It's tough. Okay. Nice and gradual. You know, this is the way things were made, especially like machine parts or like firearms, all that stuff were all made just like this. It's amazing to think about. And it's great to commune with your history like that. Just about flat. Just about. Here we go. these corners off so it runs nice and smooth. I'm kind of curious how this thing is going, you know what I mean? See what we're working with? Okay, let me see. It is like nice and tight in there, but it could be a little bit more loose. And I kind of prefer it to have a little bit more play than being like, binding up all the time. Can't have that. Can't have it getting bound up. Almost ready to go over to our fine file. I don't know if you guys can see how much material is skating off of this thing, but we're getting rid of a whole lot. I feel like I'm gonna hit my phone. Your file is biting in really nice if it feels sticky. You know what I mean? It feels like you're dragging honey with like a butter knife. You're dragging honey as opposed to it just being wet and sliding right along. It feels sticky because you have all of that pretty much friction and resistance of it biting in. It's a good feeling. Oh, there we go. Okay, I want to be able to wiggle it. We need a good little wiggle. We don't have a wiggle yet. Which side do I need to take it from? I'm going to go over here and hit it from the other side. You know what I mean? Because, you can favor certain directions. So I'm going to flip it around. Plus, I'm using the other side of my file, which is good for wear. Keeping everything as true and flat as I can as I'm going. Looking better. Switch files. Ouch. Ooh, do I need to tend to that? Can't quite tell if I need to put some tape on that or not. That corner pulled up my fingernail and that hurt. But hey, hazards of the workplace. You guys want to see it? No, you guys don't want to see it. Ooh, I hear a little rain coming. Gotta love a little bit of rain. It's good for the land, especially out here where we're prone to droughts. Hearing rain is like music. All right, I want to try this thing. I want to actually put some bolts in here and see what we're actually working with. Let me fix you. There we go. Let's grab some tea. And let's test it out. Ooh, I need some bolts. These, I think, we're within a couple hairs. Just but a couple hairs. Are you guys able to hear it? Oh, yeah. Luckily, it's just like the corner. So it's not too bad. Ooh, and that slides really nice. Oh, we're looking good. I do the same thing. I don't know what's with that. Oh, let me go grab some bolts. I'll be right back. Hopefully I got the right size. But let's find out. Where's my cute little crescent wrench? I got the sweetest little crescent wrench around here, and I've lost it. I don't know where it went, which bums me out because I look. It's just a joy to use, you know what I mean? But let's see. Let's get, this thing all nice and centered, right, on our guides. And these guides are, a little corroded, but they slide really nice. Perfect. Oh, it's already feeling good. Looking good from my angle, guys. Got a little gunk to get past. Oh. Ah, ha, ha. Yes. That is incredible, incredible success. We got nice free flow, right, with our vise. And it's only going to get better as it wears in, you know what I mean? I haven't even put even oil on it. But now, so when I would tighten this thing down on the top of its jaws, I would almost, it would buckle. It would buckle upwards because it didn't have the guide underneath. But now, let's put this thing in here. If I put it on the top of these jaws, let's see if it buckles or not. Right on the tip, right on the outside of it. Oh, cranking it down. And we are still in perfect alignment. That's what I'm talking about. Cheers, folks. That's what I'm talking about. That felt good. And now I can use this tool for another 100 some odd years, God willing. And I don't have to worry about wearing the threads of this Acme thread out inside of this block. I don't have to worry about it popping off with all that leverage. That was a good decision to do, And what's neat about trade, working with their hands, is you're constantly getting dealt just really good little lessons, you know what I mean? Like, good lessons to it's worth shutting everything down and just tending to a thing that you've been putting off for a long time and be intentional, Spend some time being intentional, do some repairs, build some things that are going to make your life a lot easier in the future. Future you's going to thank you. It's good. Being braised on, what have you looked? Oh, braised on? Yeah, you just would never see it on the bottom of the tool. You would never have seen it. That makes me happy. And I like I said, I love this tool. I use it all the time, and I'm glad I finally, put a little attention and intention into this tool and kind of give thanks back after decade, 2 decades of trusty service, you know? Oh, if the Acme thread broke off, true, we could braise it. That is true. Having those bits of gold in there always look great. Once cast breaks, it's never quite as good as it was originally, you know what I mean? And it feels right accomplishing something by hand. This is one of our greatest things right here. An incredible tool is our hands, and using them, you know, it's really important. I find it very important, vastly needed in just everyday life. Casey and I have been talking about that a lot lately. And people are meant to create, darn it. People are supposed to be creating. And I think people are maybe falling into depression, so on and so forth, because they're consuming more than they're creating. And that's okay. And it's like a 50-1, right? You can't be creating all the time, but it does good for your mental health to create and not consume. Do you know what I mean? Ooh, complacency kills the soul. That's a big one. Yeah, you know, I want you guys to get out there and create whatever your medium is. You know, whatever you do in this big, beautiful world of ours, make it even more beautifuler by creating. We're making up words today, I guess. Yeah, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this. And I'm very happy that I was able to share a little bit with you today. You know, I love these Sundays because we get to chat, we get to hang out, we get to have a little cup of something and work on something that I've been neglecting here in the workshop. It's good times. Well, I'm gonna leave you to your big, beautiful Sunday. You know, it's a beautiful day. Go out there and make it awesome. However much of it you have left. You know, there's different time zones here today. But you know, I hope you all get out there and strike true. Go create something. You know, go work with your awesome hands. It was someone's birthday. I know, rage, dude. Happy birthday, my friend. You know, I hope you have a terrific one. Wow. And for the rest of you, that isn't your birthday, you know, do good. Be kind and create. That's all you got to do. It's easy as that. All right, everybody. Love you all. Don't forget to love each other. Okay. Till next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.